Hello everyone. Two things before we start off today's video. Number one, ignore the wet hair. It's currently raining right now, but this is kind of like the last opportunity I have to record a video for a little while. And that leads me to my second point. There will not be another video now until Monday. Tomorrow I'm off to the dentist to have my bottom set of braces put in. So I obviously won't be able to talk very much. Then I also kind of just want to have Friday off just to recover type thing, to let the pain go down. And then obviously I'll be taking the weekend off as I usually do. And so yeah, the next day you will see me is on Monday, and I will have new grills on Monday. But today's topic: Keir Starmer, Prime Minister, as I hope you guys would know, but very unpopular guy, worst Prime Minister in history, and actually recorded polling actually puts him as the least popular as well. And there's been a lot of chatter, there's been a lot of chatter about when he might go, when he might resign, when he might leave power. So I wanted to comment on that today. I wanted to give my thoughts on when he might go, potentially why he might go, and then what happens after he goes. So thing number one, when. There was a lot of speculation around the last budget that might be the thing to kill him off. YouTube legal reasons. I don't mean kill him off in a literal sense, I mean politically. What was I saying? I'm not trying to get cancelled like that. I'm not trying to get shadow banned like that. Yeah, a lot of people speculating that the budget might get rid of him, kind of push him out of power. Then a lot of people were speculating that it might go before Christmas. But obviously it's the new year now, way past the new year. So what do I think would be the reason? I think that the upcoming local elections across England, the Holyrood election, ignore my forehead, and the Welsh Senate election might be the things that would finally get rid of him. So, as we know, a lot of Labour insiders, I don't know how well you can hear me, a lot of Labour insiders were saying that he came very close to resigning after Labour's huge, historic defeat at the Caerphilly by-election at the hands of Plaid Cymru, sorry. So if he came that close to resigning after losing a single seat, which was historically Labour, what would happen after he loses the whole Senedd to Plaid and Reform that Labour have held on to for so long? What would that do to him, to kind of his kind of mentality around the whole premiership thing? I believe that will knock him out. Kind of three massive defeats back to back to back. I'm pretty sure they're all happening around about the 7th of May, 8th of May, somewhere around that time. So if he has those defeats successively, like polling suggests, I think that might be the thing that will finally get rid of him. You know, Labour have held onto the Senedd for so long. If he loses all of that, that's got to push him over the edge. You know, they've had such a hold on Scotland as well. Second place for quite a while, I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you see polling averages from Election Maps UK, I would consider, if I were you, checking them out on X. You can just see them plummeting, and Reform were going up, and then they kind of began to peak a little bit. But I think after all of those massive losses, that will be the thing that will get rid of Starmer. I think that will kind of push him over the edge. His team can't talk him back out of that. I think that will just be too much for him. That will knock him out. So, on to probably the more important part of this video: what's going to happen after he resigns. So there are kind of, in my opinion, technically two main front runners. I say technically two because the joint West Streeting Angela Rayner ticket, I believe, are the most likely to win a Labour leadership contest, making West Streeting the next Prime Minister and getting Angela Rayner back into her vice premiership. I just stepped in a puddle and got water in my shoe. Exquisite. This wasn't going to be a long video anyway, because it's terrible out today. But I think a joint West Streeting Angela Rayner ticket is the most likely successor to Keir Starmer. I think when he goes, and he will be going very soon, I think the most likely thing is that they hold a joint ticket and they get elected in. The second front runner, I would say, to be Andy Burnham, but I don't think he's that likely to get in, because obviously he's not an MP, he can't challenge Starmer for the leadership of the Labour Party. So what he has to do, has to resign that seat of being mayor of Manchester? Is he Manchester? I think he's Manchester. Mayor of Manchester has to resign that. Then he has to find a by-election that Labour looks likely to win, which is few and far between now. And then he has to stand, he has to get that candidacy, which is going to be a major problem for him, being as the part of the party that selects candidates for by-elections is very much pro-Keir Starmer. So for him to be able to get himself in a position to challenge Keir Starmer, he's got to be selected by a pro-Starmer committee, which I don't view as very likely at all. But let's say even, they let him stand, so he's now a candidate. For him to beat Reform in a by-election, or the Lib Dems, or the Greens, because they're all major oppositions to Labour right now, I view that as very unlikely. There's just so many steps that you can fall short at so easily and so quickly. And I just don't think he's got that high of a likelihood of actually being able to set himself up to then challenge Starmer. Then you've got to think he's also going to be successful at challenging Starmer, which I think he would be, to be honest. That's the easiest step in his bid for the Labour leadership. There's also a third, very, very more unlikely option, which is Starmer calls an early election to kind of try and see if he can win back a mandate of popularity, of power, if you get what I mean there. So he's kind of like, if I'm so unpopular after these defeats, I'm going to hold a snap general election. He's going to, work that campaign hard, and he's going to try and see if he can win. Kind of, all the stuff they're saying now. We're protecting democracy. We need to. We're investing in the country. We're making the hard decisions now. Allow us a second term, and then hopefully they lose that election. I don't like Reform. I don't agree with Reform. I left Reform. I would prefer a Reform government over a Labour government. That is what I would prefer to see. Obviously, if I had it my way, in a perfect ideal world controlled by me, it wouldn't be Reform at the head. I would want Rupert Lowe at this point to be the Prime Minister. But yeah, I don't view that as very likely. So to kind of summarise what I've said, to kind of put my most likely timeline, my prediction, pin this and wait and let me know, or kind of like berate me if I got this completely wrong. Actually no, I'll make a video on my predictions after the election. I'll actually make a video on the election, the results, how it went, that type of stuff. But I will also make a video, either in that video or kind of a completely separate video, commenting on what I've said and how accurate I was. But yeah, so my kind of realistic timeline for my thoughts is May the 7th, if that's the correct date. Labour will lose big at the English council elections. They will lose big in the Welsh Senate elections. They will lose big at the Holyrood Scottish election. And then Keir Starmer will resign his position as the Labour Party leader and the Prime Minister of the country, sparking a leadership race that will be won by Wes Streeting and Angela Rayner. I believe that to be the most likely timeline. And I don't see Streeting calling a snap by-election immediately afterwards. I think maybe if we see Labour's popularity begin to tick upwards to the point where Reform and Labour are kind of close, I think then you might go for it. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that part, but I'm just saying that kind of timeline of events from the elections that Labour will lose big to Streeting becoming the next Prime Minister of the UK. Yeah, let me know about your thoughts on what I've just said. Let me know about any of your theories as well. What I'd like to do is I would like to gather some of your theories and maybe comment on them. Kind of do a bit more research into your theories specifically and see kind of how likely they are, how much I agree. Maybe I've changed my theory, you know, stuff like that. I might do that if there's some really interesting ones, you know, maybe. Also, leave any video suggestions that you want. If you kind of want me to comment on a certain topic, there's quite a few things going on in the world right now. Any kind of questions you have, maybe more specifically about me politically. I know one guy did say he wanted a video on kind of why I left Britain first and kind of my history in Britain first. So if you want to see that as well, let me know. I might prioritize that one a bit more. Yeah, any video ideas, any kind of theories you have, put them in the comments, let me know, and I'll comment on them. I'll make a video, depending on kind of how interesting I find them. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for watching. Yeah, thank you.